Hi everyone, Divine Duchess here with another installment of Self-Love, a Personal Journey. I want to get right into it because it's on my heart, and I had a long conversation with God and a long conversation with my dad in spirit because my dad passed away, and just having a conversation with him and God about how I felt because I was triggered this morning, and triggers happen. And what was on my heart was how do you make peace with hurt and wounds that don't seem to go away. And I've been trying to make peace with hurts and wounds that haven't quite gone away. Like, it's hard sometimes to really let go of what hurt you. And when you have to kind of make a choice with that pain on how you want to carry it. You got to make a choice on how you want to go about life with that wound. And some of us will take the road of allowing it to take over our life, our being, our sense of self. And we would carry it and wear it like a coat, a jacket, not being able to let it go. And then you also have to make a choice that even though that hurt you, and even though if you think about it, you find yourself feeling that pain, you have to then decide how you want to carry that pain. And I don't want to carry my pain like that. I don't want to carry my wounds and make it a part of my being. So I have to make peace with it because it's important for me to have peace in my mind, peace in my heart, peace in my soul, peace in my spirit. But when people that are important to you in your life betray you and hurt you deeply, it is not an easy wound or hurt to just get over, because you put a lot of love and trust into these people that you felt or had that same love and trust in you. And then to find out that is not reciprocal. It is a wound, it is a hurt that you have to make peace with because you have to be able to move forward in life. And I'm doing I guess me bringing this up and me feeling what I'm feeling is a way for me to heal it and move past it. Like, my father had an opportunity. I don't know if I've talked about this before. Maybe I'm not over it. And maybe this is a time and a season that I really need to move forward with it and just let it go. Maybe that's why I'm bringing it up. Maybe that's why it's triggering me right now. But you can't control other people and their actions. You can't control other people's decisions, even when it can affect you directly. You are at the will of somebody else's will. And some decisions, especially our parents, some decisions that they make, some choices that they do, they may find themselves between a rock and a hard place. Or they just make decisions that just are selfish and self-serving. And it's not even your parents. It could be anybody. It could be friends, whatever. But I have to try my best to make peace with my father on certain aspects on what he's done. And the later years of his life, and it's and it's, as much as I'm hurt about what is done to me, but what's really more painful is to know that the choice that he made did not benefit him. Like the decision, I have to talk about what his choices, what this was. I don't even know why I'm having a hard time even bringing it up to really get into detail with it. But at the end of my father's life, he had cancer. He had cancer, and he didn't tell me he had cancer. I didn't know for years that he was sick. My father was a victim of 9/11. He wasn't directly involved in the tunnels, but he was at the Beekman Hospital. He was at the hospital. He worked there that day. And the Twin Top, that hospital and where he's at, they're like less than a mile away from each other. Very close. And I'm not going to say at the time when he went, when 9/11 happened, there was a point in our relationship that we didn't talk for a long time. And I can't even remember why he and I stopped talking. And that's just me. It's just, I try my best not to hang on to shit. But anyway, when he and I got, we rekindled our relationship when I had my daughter. So at the ending of his life, I didn't know he had cancer. He didn't tell me anything about it. When I did find out about him being sick, this was 2020. And he was living in the Bronx. I was living in Brooklyn. By this time, he and I were talking. We were good. He would come to Brooklyn. He would come next door because next door to me, his friend lived or whatever. And he would come down here, would visit me. He would visit me and the kids because I lived, we lived next to him him and his friend, like I said, lived next door. We were good. When he got sick, I didn't know. So that right there was very hurtful to me because everybody kind of knew and he never told me. Then when he got sick, he was living in the Bronx, like I said, and he was getting bad. He was getting worse. He was falling out. He was passing out. I had to move him to Brooklyn so that he can be closer to me. But when I moved him to Brooklyn, he had an opportunity to set himself up, set his granddaughters up because they, from 9/11, they give them, a payout for the cancer. I didn't know anything about the payout. I didn't know anything about what he got. I didn't know anything about it. I called him when his friend got sick. I called him, and his friend was in a hospital. The house next door is empty. Nobody was, my dad was staying there for a little bit to keep an eye on the house while the family made decisions on how they wanted to move forward. And I said to him, and this time he was walking, everything was good. He was sick, but he was able to get about. He was moving, and I said to him, talk to the family, see if they can, if they want to sell the house, if they're trying to keep it, like, what is it? And he kept kind of like, he wasn't really pushing for it, and I kind of should have taken the hint then. But at that time, so when they did decide to sell the house, I said to him, I said, Daddy, I want to put a down payment. I want to approach them to buy the house. I said, could you help me with a down payment, like with half of the down payment I don't have? I want to at least show them that I'm serious. If I'm going to give them, I'd rather give them something to show them to hold this house. I'm trying to buy it. Let me give me some time to go get a mortgage. Let me go get, pull my ducks in order. You know what I'm saying? Just give them something to hold that while I do that. Just hold it. Because in my neighborhood, not shouting out, no disrespect, but the Jews are coming back in because that's what they doing, and they coming into the neighborhoods and they offering people cash and trying to buy up these people's property, and a lot of the houses on this particular neighborhood is a lot of old folks, and they passing and they kids move off and they move away, and then they just selling the houses and taking the cash, and I'm just looking at it, and I'm like, anyway, that's a wholly different tangent I'm going on. Anyway, so I call him and I asked him to help me. He told me, you know what, Nicole, I don't have it. I wish I could help you. And I'm like, damn, my mother, I knew she couldn't do it. So I was like, damn, I don't really have it. And I can't really this is not, what I have was just not, it wasn't going to be enough for them at the time. So I let it, I had to watch, them watch the house go on sale and be sold to the pink people with the yarmulkes. As time went on, he got sicker and sicker and sicker. And like I said before, he was falling out. He was passing out in the Bronx. At the time I was up in Harlem sometimes, and I would be close enough to like go to the hospitals in the Bronx or come from Brooklyn and go up there on the weekends and go, just try my best. And this got to a point where I was like, okay, Daddy, you can't stay up here like this. You got to come down to Brooklyn. And during the time that he was going through back and forth in the hospital and passing out, I then became responsible for his finances and making sure his bills was paid, his cell phone, whatever was going on with him. I look in this man's bank account. He had hundreds of thousands of dollars in his bank account. And when I saw that, the only thing that could come into my mind at that moment, not, Daddy got this money, let me do this. The only thing that popped into my head was, wait a minute. So when I called you and asked you to help me to buy that house so that me and your granddaughters, you can have something for them to have, you told me that you couldn't help me. You told me that you didn't have it to give to me. And by that time, I done said it. They done moved in. They done bought the property. And that to me was so spiteful. How your father is going to be spiteful to you? How the man that's supposed to provide and protect you. The man that's actually supposed to make sure that you're gonna I'm his only child. Out of him and his brother, his other sisters, he's the only one with grandkids. He's the only one that has a legacy to leave behind. And in that moment and in that time of your life when you are sick and you're getting sicker because you got cancer, it's that 9/11 cancer was no joke. I lost my uncle. I lost his brother because his brother was working there at the same hospital. I lost my uncle and him. I lost my uncle first a year before him and then him. When my uncle passed, he left a house for his wife with them kids that wasn't even his. He left her a nice big house with swimming pool in Long Island with a big backyard, 8-bedroom, I don't know how many bathrooms for her and for her kids. And he ain't had no kids with that woman. But that woman has a legacy for her kids. My father had an opportunity to do that and he refused me. He refused that opportunity to do it even for himself. To say, I was going to get a point in my life where I'm going to get sick and Nicole doesn't know it, or let me start planning, let me start. If I tell you the reason at the end of the times when I was taking him back, like, I'm all for when I got to ask you questions, I need to ask you. I'm not going to wait till you're dead to say what I need to say to you and not and expect an answer. You understand? And as much as I'm here talking to him, I already got my answer before he passed. And the reason why he did what he did was because he didn't want to live next door to my mother. He didn't want to live next door to her kids. I'm like, what? Wait a minute. First of all, my mother ain't thinking about you. As a matter of fact, my mother don't even, listen, as according to her, the cancer can't take you fast enough for her. That's how she felt about you. And her kids, which is not his, they don't give two shits about you either. They don't even fuck with me. So they don't even come around here. Like, what are you talking about? So the reason why you didn't help me has nothing to do with me. The reason that you didn't want to help me has nothing to do with what are you talking about? You denied yourself and me, your kids, yourself, your grandkids, because of motherfuckers who don't care nothing about you. So you betray me for motherfuckers who don't care nothing about you. You betray me to do why? Listen. This man was helping chicks take care of their teeth. He was buying bitches new gums. You understand? He was out here buying lottery tickets. When I had to really sit down and go through his shit and go through his stuff when he was really sick and I had to put his affairs in fucking order. When the man, after sitting there with him, and God made space for me and gave me time for me to be able to sit with him as long as I could, to ask and answer, for him to answer a lot of fucking questions that I had about the way he moved through life. And to know that you didn't help me for why. So now, when it's all said and done, in order for me he's sicker now. What I'm going to do? I had to go move him to Brooklyn. I had to get him, or he had to live in somebody else's house. Imagine. You had to go pay rent at somebody else's house. You had to now go and go pay rent at somebody else's house to live in their place. When I did get the money, when he did say, okay, Nicole, you can, at this point, he couldn't even hide it anymore. And I just sat there and I just looked at the situation, and I was like, you know what? Even though that was painful and it was hurtful and he betrayed me and hurt my heart, I still my father and I love him. I'm not going to say that the money eventually didn't benefit me in some way, and I'm grateful for that. Don't get me wrong. But God know in my heart that I would have rather taken that money and bought that house and laid it out for him so he could have been comfortable. He could have had me. The man could have been sitting on his porch, chilling, smoking his weed, drinking his coffee. He could have walked to the store. He could have just been outside on his porch. But no, this man could have been in his own space, in a bed, in his own little comfortability, enjoying the last days of his life. He could have taken that money and he could have traveled, because the man didn't even have a passport. He could have done so many things. And it was just so selfish. I had rather that I'm thankful for what I was able to do with what he had left me with, but it would have been so much. It would have been so much. I feel like I know that if he was over there and he was closer to me, and if I didn't have to be running back and forth, if he wasn't living by himself, if he was just next door to me, we would have had so much more. He would have had so much more time. He would have been so much more energetic. I feel like if he would have passed better in peace. But instead he was passing and he was just living like I don't know. I can't explain it. If I tell you how my father was living in the Bronx in his apartment when I had to move him out, and he had that money, he could have changed his own fucking life and didn't. That shit is crazy. The fact that at the end of your days that you were spiteful till you cut off your own nose to spite yourself for what? When you have so much left for you to do with your life, and for your children, your grandchildren, you're the only one. As much as I would have loved for it to happen, I have to make peace, but maybe to know, not even maybe, to know that God has another plan. God gives us free will. And he freely made that choice. Consciously. Knowingly. With lies. And at the same time telling me, you love me. Both of my parents have done things that, if God didn't give me the heart that he has given me, if God didn't give me the soul and the spirit and the sensibility, if God prepared me from the day I was born to be able to come to this very moment and be able to talk about it and not be in some fucking psych ward or some shit. You understand what I'm saying? Because it's been a lot. And so I know that every experience that I have experienced, everything that I've gone through, and everything that I have overcome, and even those struggles those things I still continue to heal and move forward with, I know it's for a reason. It's for a reason. And if it's even in this moment to have it to say to whoever is listening, it's not an easy journey. But you have to just know that God has given you. He has this journey, this life that you on is for a purpose, is for a reason. And I listen. I want what God has in store for me. So I'm these situations. I want what's mine, and my life is mine, and I want to overcome it, and I want to move forward. I refuse to allow people and their bullshit and what they do to try to hurt me or allow it to take control over my life. No. And as much as my father has done what he did, I never left his side. I took care of him the best way I could. I was his only child. And I loved my father. I've seen him from when he's walking strong to the point where he was in the bed and couldn't get up and couldn't move. I did what I could. And I didn't have the help or the support of a lot of people while I was doing it. Trust me, it was a lot going on. Anyway, so I'm gonna go. I don't know if you made it this far to hear my story or hear what I had to say, but some wounds, like I said, we have to make peace with it. That may not ever leave us. That will probably just stick with us for the rest of our lives. There's some hurts that just don't leave. There's some wounds that just don't leave. And we can bandage it up and we can heal it. But what we can do is allow it to heal and let every time that it comes up when it triggers us to make it trigger us less and less every time. To know that this is just a moment of reflection. And why is it that you feel triggered? And why is this emotion coming up? And do you feel like this? To process it, to get it out. If you have to scream it out, yell it out, cry it out, talk to the person that hurt you, dead or alive. You don't even have to really talk to them physically. You could just have that conversation with yourself, with God. Because there's certain hurts that you will never get absolved from other people, especially when other people hurt you. Especially when other people hurt you. There is no sense in getting closure from people who have gone about their purpose to hurt you. Because it was not a mistake, it was purposely done. And to know when something is purposely done to you to hurt you is worse than to know that somebody did something by mistake and really didn't know that it was going to affect you the way it did. But to know that a person goes about their way, to know consciously, physically, knowing that what you're about to do or say is going to hurt you, how you find closure with that? There's nothing that this person can say to you that's going to make you feel better, that's going to absolve your hurt. There's nothing. So those are the kinds of wounds that I'm dealing with. Not a mistake. Oh, no. Purposeful, knowingly planned out, executed betrayal. That's a plot and a plan and an idea, and that took a conscious decision, and that's the kind of shit that's really fucked up. And that's what I'm dealing with. Because I have to deal with my mother. I got to deal with my father. I got to deal with it with my siblings. Listen, if I can be a source of anybody going through anything, stay in prayer. And whatever strength that you have, whatever mustard, the faith of a mustard seed. That's not what he asks us to have. Us a faith of a mustard seed. If you got that much faith to know that where this journey that you on and where God is, what he's doing in your life, just to have that much faith to know that you're going to get over it, to know that today it hurts, but joy comes in the morning and when the sun rises, and to know that every day that you can move forward the best way you can. It doesn't have to be instantaneously. It doesn't have to be overnight. I mean, some things just take time. And to know that what you're going through, there's somebody else going through the same thing that might need your guidance and your wisdom one day. And you're going to be able to tell them how you overcame it. So I'm going to tell you how I overcame it. I overcame it by having that small little bit of faith to know that God has a plan for my life, because there's no reason why God will put me through this shit and having me, because I know that whatever he's doing, he's going to make sure that I come out clean. And if you got to find somebody to talk to that you can't have no friend, if there's no friends or no family, get a therapist. I have one. Because there's nobody around me that I could even turn to really have a conversation with, to help me through certain internal struggles that I was going through that I couldn't figure out, or have the other people around me help me to figure out, for even myself. Sometimes it's hard for me to even tell you how I got through it. And because I'm still doing it, I'm still going through it. Because I'm going through it today. But I know that me getting it out, me speaking it out, is a good way for me to start my healing with it. Because some wounds some hurts just don't go away. And some wounds and some hurts are just some lessons that you would just have to carry with you for the rest of your life. And to know that there's people out there, even your blood will do you dirty. And that's hard. That's hard.